Oh, what do you do? You know, we talk a lot about blessing, which you can also translate as complimenting or praising. And trying to carry this out in personal practice and daily life is an extremely valuable thing, but quite difficult when you've been brought up with a system and a language which is conducive toward criticism. This has been a mainstay of Western education for a very, very long time. And so how do you teach people without criticizing them? There's really an art to it that has to be learned in these days. So meanwhile, while you still haven't figured that out yet, I'll give you some clues, but while you're still figuring that out, we have something that we call a sandwich. Now, if you're trying to teach somebody something or correct what they've done or what they're doing, here's the thing to practice. Criticize first and then give a compliment. The way most people have the habit is, well, you've done okay, but, and then leap into the criticism, finishing up with making the other person feel bad and increasing tension in your own body. Do it the other way around. Yes, you did this terrible thing, but I like your hair. Okay? Or something, see? Now, surprisingly, it sounds silly the way I said it, but even if you use that, you've cleared the air. If you will, you know, what happens with most people, where they get so resentful and angry and upset, and their self-esteem drops, and they get despair and depression, it's because they never get any acknowledgement for anything good they do. They turn around and it's amazing what they can do and what they can be capable of if they get the littlest bit of acknowledgement. Yes, okay, this needs to be fixed and this needs to be fixed and that has to be changed. You got to do this differently, but you did this right. Okay? There's so much power in that. And that's because there's so much power in that. Okay? Right from the start. So while, you know, if that's all you can do, now that's called an open-faced sandwich. A closed sandwich, which is really good for letter writing, is when you give a compliment, give the criticism, and end with a compliment. This is good, that's not, but this is good. That really makes them far more willing to correct the mistake than they would be otherwise. Okay, with that said, let's do a jump into a different way of teaching. And the way of teaching that I'm talking about, it's used by some individual educators today. They're rare, but some are using it. But it's used by virtually all the people who train animals for movies. Because what those people have found is they don't give any criticism, they don't give any punishment. They only praise or they're neutral. And they have been able in recent past years to get animals to do things that no one ever believed was possible because they're only using positive feedback. When they do something wrong, they give them no feedback. Well, we have that animal aspect of us which is identical, in which we will move toward positive feedback and away from negative feedback. And we don't know what to do when there's no feedback, so we're going to look for positive feedback. Human beings operate this way. These people have discovered it with animals. I hope they discover it with humans too, because it works. When you are able to acknowledge that something isn't, forget the word correct, something that you're doing is not producing the effect that you want. That's a different thing. Let's take dancing, where there's a lot of criticism used as a teaching method, and it's totally unnecessary, and it slows down the dancers, slows down the learning. So a person makes a step out of place. Okay. If you come in and say, no, that's wrong, or that's not correct, or some kind of criticism, roll your eyes, whatever. Say, wait a second. When you make the step that way, your body looks out of balance and the whole dance doesn't present itself as well as it could. If you make the step this way, you feel better and everything looks better. Try it. Now see, there was no criticism in that. Somebody could personally decide that no matter what you say, it was a criticism. You got no control over that one. But you know when you're criticizing. You don't need to criticize to teach. But that is a skill because it takes awareness. And so until you get there, remember the sandwich.